YouTube. Hi, wrestling fans, and welcome to another scintillating edition, a post-Fright Night edition, but pre-Halloween Havoc, as we're right in the middle, as we're recording, of AIWF Ringside Wrestling. Hi, I am Hall of Famer Mad Matt Carter. Still feels weird introducing myself like that. It seems kind of braggadocious. I don't think I like doing that.
Facts are facts.
Yeah, and alongside, as always, Brian and Reagan Danzig. The boss man, Rick Diesel, was here, but then he disappeared, because, well, of our pre-recording discussion, I think, run him off. But there'll be no more of that kind of talk. Rick Diesel, we're not going to discuss our feelings on elected officials on this show, lest we alienate half our audience, and that's what we don't want to do. But anyway, look, Fright Night, I wasn't able to be there, but what you guys have told me as we got on the phone here, and what Rick Diesel sent, sent the information he sent me, quite an eventful night in Mount Airy, it sounds.
Yes, it was. It was from beginning to end, a great event. A lot of people there, a lot of kids dressed up for Halloween.
Nice.
And, it was a good time.
Yeah. Well, somebody that didn't have a good time was Rick Diesel. He sent me this picture. Let me see. I don't know if I want to share sound. There's really no sound. This is a still photo of a gash in Rick Diesel's head that he said was placed there by Kevin Phoenix.
Well, that's his suspicions.
Wait,
he even said that he has no proof that it's Kevin Phoenix. He just
smelled him.
Yeah,
he smelled him. Said he smelled like King. Well, he said he smelled the distinct smell of King hot dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And that nobody in AIWF loves King hot dogs more than Kevin Phoenix. So I don't know. Did he also? He might have also mentioned a certain aftershave, but that might have been. I don't know if he said that in front of people. But I had heard that rumor also that he was identifying Kevin by a hot dog smell and cologne smell. So
wow.
That doesn't seem like that would hold up in the court of law, but
no, I don't know. It seems like it's kind of circumstantial, but he got cracked on the head. He didn't see who did it, but judging by the smell, he's saying Kevin Phoenix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Interesting. You guys don't seem like you're all on board.
No, I'm not convinced. Not that. And plus, I just don't think a sneak attack like that isn't Kevin Phoenix's style. I don't think he would have done that. I think if he had something if he wanted to confront Rick Diesel, I think he would have done it to his face.
Well, and Rick Diesel is making a lot of enemies.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe, but who knows? I mean, we've known devious actions from Kevin Phoenix before.
Yeah.
So, he might have turned over a new leaf this past year or so, but, he's not always been the most upstanding fella. So,
Yep. Breaking news here, folks. I'm just reading online. North Carolina is one of the top turkey producing states in the union. Yeah, second only to Minnesota, it seems like. Interesting. Okay.
I got chased by a wild turkey and its babies one time riding a four-wheeler when I was a teenager. So.
I believe that. Wild turkeys are mean. But anyway, yeah, so that's interesting as we head toward Thanksgiving. So very, very interesting. I knew we liked chicken around here. I guess any kind of yard bird is up for grabs here in North Carolina. I was just thinking today, it's a wonder we all don't start clucking. We eat so much chicken in this state.
But sorry, I just ate a piece of candy. It tastes like Windex.
It says some of that Harry Potter candy, like they sell at Universal. It's bad flavors.
It's some kind of fat-free gummy.
Oh well, you should.
And it is disgusting. Ugh.
Sugar-free, fat-free, gluten-free. It all seems unnatural.
It's called a Chuckles. I guess it's Chuckles. Like, this tastes like Windex.
Joke's on you, Jack. Yeah. All right, so let's break it down. Let's start at the beginning. I mean, what was out first? What happened? What can you guys tell us from last night?
Well, the first match was it was supposed to be Jeff Paul versus Cam Isaac, but Jeff Paul was not there. for extenuating circumstances, because Jeff Paul always wants to defend that belt. So we had Victor Krause versus Cam Isaac, and it was a good back and forth. One thing about Victor Krause is he's getting better and better in that ring every time he steps into it. So I know he's a relatively newcomer to wrestling, and he's, especially also, Cam Isaac. I mean, he just burst onto the scene. What, 2 or 3 months? It's just not very long
at all.
And they put on a hell of a match. It was really good, because when you have two guys that are such different, styles and sizes, always like, can they match each other? And they did. It was a really good match.
My grandma Millie on my mom's side used to get so angry if I said the word bust instead of burst. She thought it was just like, she didn't like slang at all, because she said people will think you're ignorant. That's what she used to say. And when you started doing that, I got tickled, because I thought about my grandmother. Let's see. Cam Isaac is impressive.
That's one thing. Rick Diesel came out before the show and said he has some kind of beef with Cam Isaac that goes back 8 years.
How's that even possible? Cam Isaac was probably in diapers 8 years ago. I mean,
that's what Brian,
or at least like in his mid-teens.
Yeah.
Like, what did Cam Isaac possibly do 8 years ago to Rick Diesel that he has a problem with?
And he says there's a video.
So he said that Tuesday on Facebook he was going to show the video. So everybody be sure to tune into that.
Maybe he spit up on him. Maybe like he held him up as a baby and he spit up on him. I mean, I can't.
And Rick Diesel has that effect on children. I mean,
yes. So I mean, that's
that was very puzzling for me.
Puzzling indeed. So Cam Isaac, congratulations, Cam Isaac. Studied under Lodi, and so if you want to get a good wrestling education, Lodi doesn't sponsor this show, but I mean the dude, he's awful friendly every time you see him. He runs top notch wrestling school. Anytime any of his guys come up, we're always like, whoa, baby, so Cam Isaac is taking off. So hopefully we see more of him. I'm just noticing this turkey map I was looking at was it was from 2019, so I don't know if those figures are necessarily accurate, but
anymore. I don't know, but maybe we should turn this into Turkey Talk, the Turkey Talk section of the podcast.
Well, I mean, it's almost Halloween. Thursday night's the big night. We get to hand out candy, and here's the good thing for me, because I worked Saturday. I think my boss is going to let me off my shoot job on Friday. So I have Halloween night and do not have to go to work the next morning. Now that is like, anytime Halloween falls on Friday and Saturday night, I usually get like extra pumped. But like when I was working Saturday and I was talking to one of the other soups, and I was like, I wonder if Andrea let me off on Friday. And she was like, yeah, he probably will. And I was like, okay. And I just revealed my boss's name on this show. Shit.
Well, just first name. So
yeah. And she was like, yeah, he probably will. And I was like, score, Halloween's on Thursday. Because in our little, the reason I'm moving to turkeys is because I'm always working on the next thing. As soon as Halloween's over, Thanksgiving, fat guy Christmas, you get all the food and don't have to worry about any of the other stuff. And so, so I hand out candy and move on, and I have to go to the road because our little set of townhouses here is mostly retired people living, and they don't pass out candy. So the only way we get any trick-or-treater action is just actually go up to the road where we got a little building next to the mailboxes, and we just sit up and hand out candy as they come down the sidewalk. So
we go to a friend's house who lives in a neighborhood that goes all out, because we live on a cul-de-sac also. But like, so it's like not even like you wouldn't even notice it was here if you didn't know the road. Like, it's such a tiny, I mean, it's not even, I don't know, it's probably like 500 feet long.
Yeah.
And so we always go, well, that, and when we have children, we are out doing it. We're not passing out. So
yeah. Yeah. So, any of you out there, don't be lazy and go to some trunk or treat somewhere, man. Take your kids around, like walk the streets, meet the neighbors. If you're not a good place for trick or treating, like if you live out in a rural area or somewhere, go into town. There's plenty of great neighborhoods to go trick or treating in. When I was a little kid, I did my street, went to my grandmother's house, went to one of her neighbors. I mean, I did a whole round on Halloween night, so
That in a lot of downtowns, the businesses will do trick or treating also.
yeah.
We used to go to the rich section and get full size candy bars and Krispy Kreme donuts. Not fresh ones, but like the little packets with the like 6 donuts.
Yeah.
I guess it was probably a Krispy Kreme exec.
Yeah, man. I tell you what, if I was at Krispy Kreme corporate headquarters, I'd be, in the ears of anybody that would listen, be like, hey man, give me some donuts to hand out for trick or treat. But yeah, when we were coming up through there last weekend to go leaf watching with the mother-in-law, we drove through Winston-Salem. We told her that Krispy Kreme world headquarters was in Winston-Salem, and she was very impressed by that.
Do they have Krispy Kreme? Oh,
they have Krispy Kreme in the Philippines. Yes, they do.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I did not know that until I was there the last time and I saw it, and I was like, holy crap, man, what a reach. Yeah, so she was impressed by that. Okay, what was out next after Cam?
The next was the Mid Atlantic TV title on a pole match.
Very interesting.
No comparison to Joe Harrison and Ironhead Matt Anderson. And it started out very friendly, did not end friendly.
No, not
did
at
not
all.
end friendly at all. As you could watch the match, you could see Matt Anderson just getting more and more frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And like, first of all, like it would start, and then are we revealing the winners and losers?
Yes. By all means. I don't have any video to show. That's why I need y'all to talk.
So Joe Harrison, got up to the pole, got the belt down, and was celebrating. And Matt Anderson was just kind of standing there, and then just all of a sudden he went and he attacked Joe Harrison, and ended up giving him a power bomb in the middle of the ring, left him laying, and stalked off. So, which is a shocker because Matt Anderson is a good guy. I mean, like, always very respectful, always, in the back in the ring, like always somebody that you felt like was a stand-up guy. But I don't know. I
think it's just that frustration sometimes builds up. And, Matt, you were talking last week about how Matt loves to have a belt. And I think it just started eating at him that he didn't have a title. And then he came so close the one time, and then lost this match. And sometimes things happen and people snap, and that's exactly what happened last night.
Yeah, so it doesn't surprise me to hear you say that. Because his fuse was getting short. And I don't want to say I saw it coming. I didn't think he would do that if he lost. Matter of fact, I thought he was going to win. But when they signed the match, I was like, see, nobody thinks Matt will be able to get up to the pole, and he'll prove them wrong because, he's young, and for a big guy, he is very agile. And so, but then again, Joe Harrison, man, that dude, he had such a tough time with Mickey Fulk. And when he finally won that match at Deal with the Steel, which the fan cam footage of that went up on Friday on the Ringside Wrestling channel, go check it out, guys. It was an awesome match. And Joe Harrison, he fought hard to get that gold, and you're gonna have to pry it from his cold dead hands, I believe, or at least knock him into the middle of next week so he doesn't know what's going on. Because he has long suffered for that title. And you know what? If you saw his social media today, you couldn't even tell that he got a butt whipping after the match. He's standing there posing with the belt in the dressing room with a big smile on his face. So he looked perfectly content. So, yeah, Joe Harrison's like that Energizer bunny. He just keeps going and going and going. And something fell in the background there. Reagan's having to admonish the children.
No, something fell. I thought I started to figure out what it was.
You get extra redneck points if you whip them on the air. You know,
Big, they'd probably take me down now.
Bonus points if we can hear the sound, double bonus points if we can actually see it.
Can you imagine if that happened with my shoot job? Like, it would make the news.
God,
I'd be on every news day.
Yeah. Well, not because of me. I wouldn't hand it over to the because I know what Charlotte's news stations do with footage like that. They run with it, brother.
Mhm.
Especially like we got Channel 9 and Channel 3 here. Channel 3 fills more hours of live local programming during the week than any other TV station, any place I've ever seen. They have to fill 2.5 hours, 3.5 hours in the morning, and then in the afternoon, I think they come on the air locally at 4, and the only time they break is at 6:30 for the CBS Evening News, and then they come back on at 7 and go right into CBS prime time. Yeah. When I was talking to Johnny Blast, he's worked in television pretty much all his life from up in Charleston, and he used to work for the CBS affiliate up there. When I described their live programming, how much they produce here locally, he was like, "Dang!" He was like,
that's a lot of time to fill up stuff. So no wonder there's so much nonsense on stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's getting neither here nor there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm a TV and radio nerd, and we start going off on.
Yeah.
We can get into weeds real quick with me. Let me tell you why AM radio still needs to be taken care of. All right. So anyway, okay. So Joe Harrison holds on to the television title. What do we have next?
Corey Etzel and Mecha Mercenary versus Tenny and Matrix.
Wow.
Which was a barn burner.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was, neither one of them had, it's probably been 15 years probably since they've been. I know they went on a little bit longer after we left, but our children are 15, so maybe 10, 15 years. It's been a while for them.
Yeah.
And they just stepped right in. They it was an impressive match. It was a good give and take. And they pulled out the win.
Mm-hmm.
They pinned both Mecca and Corey at the same time.
What?
Well, wait, what was it? Sorry.
Actually, there was a controversy.
Oh, that's right.
At the end of the match where Matrix was had pinned Corey Etzel, and Mecha Mercenary pinned Tenny, but referee Reggie made the call, and Corey Etzel was the legal man. So the pin against Tenny didn't count because he wasn't the legal man. So even though there was 2 falls, only one of them counted. And so the one that counted was the one for Matrix and Tenny.
Maybe this was one of the times my cameras went down. I knew that there was a controversy, but I had some issues with the cameras last night. So
yeah, because it was so chaotic at the end, I couldn't remember who was the legal man and who wasn't, but apparently Reggie had he knew, so he
well, I would hope so. It's kind of his job,
right? But
I always get so angry at referees when they lose track of who's legal. It's like
so. And then after the match, Rick Diesel came out causing more problems. He told Matrix and Tenny that because they were in the Hall of Fame, they couldn't keep the belts. Because he said that they would just go home and sit and watch TV and drink hot chocolate,
right?
Which doesn't sound anything like Richie or Chris. So
right, because again, we know that they haven't been wrestling for years, but they still have been competing in mixed martial arts competitions, and so it's not like they haven't been competing in some kind of combat sport. That, and like if he wanted to make the argument that because they're in the Hall of Fame, they're not on the active roster, then okay, then you have an argument there. But I mean, there's always exception to the rule. One thing, and then also, if your claim is they're just not going to defend them, well, then you have to at least give them a chance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're going to say, well, you're not on the active roster, you're not going to come and defend it. I mean, they have been like to the last 3 events. They've been there. They haven't been competing, but they have been showing up just to plead their case and get the match that they wanted. And if they're willing to just show up just to do that, then I don't see why they wouldn't also show up to defend the titles.
And Rick Diesel's probably not too happy with me because my even though Rick Diesel has stepped in and is calling himself, you know, the executive of the AIWF, I mean, my power has not been stripped. So I let him keep. I gave him the belts, told him they could keep them. Then, yeah. So
yeah, Rick started screaming, "I want my belt," and I want my belts, and then both Bobby and I were just like, "Well, go get them."
And so I was.
If you want to go in there with those guys and take those belts from them, you go right ahead. So I'm not going to.
No. So they kept the belts. So you know,
and again, we'll see what the final word is. But as of right now, our AIWF Mid Atlantic champions are Tenny and Matrix, and I'm hoping that it stays that way. And just, you know, if you don't want them to have the belts, then put them up against a team that can take the belts away from them. I mean, that's the simplest and best thing for the fans too. You know, we don't need to. You know, the worst thing for the fans is to have belts just taken away and then having to have a tournament or you know, something like that.
And
or
they
not
want
defended.
Fair and square.
Yeah, I hate it when titles go on a team and don't get defended. So, yeah. So let's just hope that doesn't happen. Wearing my Atlanta Braves shirt today. It was a little chilly down here, and I know the Braves aren't in the World Series, but I don't care. I like them anyway. So what do we have next?
Kevin Phoenix versus Mason Matthews.
Oh, interesting.
For the World TV title.
And that match was brutal. It ended with Luscious
Kevin.
She
wanna do the wild thing.
With Kevin Phoenix laying in the middle of the ring, covered in his own blood.
Wow.
So, Mason Matthews, Seth Clayton Burns brought out a chair, gave it to Mason Matthews. Mason Matthews probably didn't make the best decision considering he got disqualified and couldn't get the belt, but he made a definite period to the end of this match. Like, I don't know what's going on in his mind, but he was out there to destroy Kevin Phoenix.
Right, yeah. He pretty much threw away an opportunity for a world title just to get at Kevin Phoenix. So,
oh boy.
So I don't know if he was just doing it to get into Rick Diesel's good graces, or if he was actually compensated monetarily. I don't know, but I mean, he was definitely had to be persuaded to give up that shot by just blatantly using a chair on Kevin Phoenix right in front of the referee.
Well, I remember Mason Matthews' last run. I think it was before you guys started coming back on a regular basis. He was pretty vicious back then. And now that he's with Seth Clayton Burns, it's scary to think if he's going to be one of those guys that's not necessarily in wrestling because he enjoys fighting or he's trying to make money or win championships, but has got a twisted thing in his head that he's just there to hurt people. I mean, remember the Wyatt family when they first showed up? They didn't worry about titles or anything. Undertaker, when he first started, I mean, he won one in his first year, but Undertaker went for several years, not focused on a title, just out and out trying to just go after people and mess them up.
And,
And
you know, Mason Matthews is a badass. I mean, with that if you think back to that submission match with Joe Harrison,
Mhm.
like he wasn't, I mean, he was flipping off the ref and when they would ask him, you know, to submit. And so he's a tough SOB. So
Mhm.
we'll just have to see what his plan is, what Seth Clayton Burns. But, you know, also Seth Clayton Burns is Rick Diesel's right-hand man. So was Mason Matthews the hit man to take care of Kevin, since Rick thinks he's the one that attacked him. So
could
you know,
be,
it's a
could be,
tangled
yeah.
web.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, I don't
I
think
know
it's
what Mason
coincidence.
Matthews does for a living and his shoot job. And and let me tell you, brother, like Dusty Rhodes just said, that is a bad man, baby. You know, so
Mhm.
so sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Brian, but your screen froze.
No, and
Oh,
so
no.
did you. Like that was
Okay.
what happened. It was like, "Nyeh."
Right.
Okay. All right. So let me take a time out there and we'll do our first ad break. I'm telling you, we're going to try to push through this thing and get you guys to where you don't miss a minute of Halloween Havoc. I know the preview show starts at 6, but I don't think the actual event starts till 7. Premier to Auto Detailing, we always say, hands down, they're the best car cleaning service in town. They do down to the toothbrush clean detailing or just wash cars for you to do residential and commercial jobs. So if you've got a used car lot, or you just got that old jalopy in the backyard that you don't want to clean up, or you just don't like washing a car. Some people love washing, cleaning their vehicle. They do. They take pride in it. I am not one of those people, my friends. And I would recommend that if you're in the Mount Airy, Surry County area, you call Premier Auto Detailing. They are very affordable, and they will give you, a free estimate, of course. 336-736-2638. That's 336-736-2638. And my understanding is that number is available 24/7. So if you have some kind of Halloween prank that goes terribly wrong on Thursday night and you need those blood stains soaked out of those seat cushions quick, you give them a call and they will help you out. I'm just kidding. They're not going to help you clean up a crime scene. But so anyway, they can help you with anything. If you've got just a dirty car, that no felonies have been committed in, it's just dirty. They can definitely help you clean that up. 336-736-2638. That's 336-736-2638 for Premier Auto Detailing. Another one of our great sponsors is Tees Creations Custom Apparel. They're the official outfitter of the AIWF Mid Atlantic. Here's some of their fall, Halloween, autumn designs. And man, when I tell you, they have got a huge internet presence. The website, teescreations22.com, Tees Creations by Allied Apparel on Facebook, TikTok at Tees Creations, and they're also on Shopify. So, they've got these are some of their designs. If you need something custom made for Halloween, they put out a message on social media today to get those orders in now, because Halloween is Thursday night. It's coming up quick. So Tees Creations, we certainly appreciate their support, and give them reach out to them online any way you can, and they'll be glad to help you out with whatever custom apparel needs you need. There's a lot of needs. Big D's Grill. I don't have any official copy for that, but they were the concessionaire last night at Fright Night. And Brian Reagan, did you get a chance to try out Big D's Grill?
My children did. They said it's some of the best burgers they'd ever had.
Really?
So,
good.
and that's a teenager. So
yeah.
They don't give compliments very easily. So
No, they don't.
They got that chili cheese fries. So
okay.
But they were busy. Like they were Darren is the one who runs this, and he's usually our music man, and he was he tried to run back and forth, but it didn't happen because he was so busy, which is good. So I hope everybody enjoyed it. It was nice to have something different. And so it was good. And then also I meant to say this, Tees Creations also had shirts last night out to buy. So they've been really busy doing that. And I saw yesterday that she was in the or day before. I know she's been consistently in her t-shirt room making shirts. So, she's ready to take your orders.
There you have it. So, but if you want to join this party, it's $10 a month to advertise with. It's dirt cheap. We're putting the headlock on high advertising prices. I know I don't have the slide up. Reason being, I want to make a point that if we take a week off, don't you worry, because you're going to get 4 reads for that monthly fee. So just reach out to Rick Diesel or Darren or myself, Brian and Reagan, whoever you run into next first, and we can get you hooked up. It's best rates in wrestling. So definitely check it out. All right. So moving on with Fright Night. What did we have out? Because I had a feeling after 4 matches, we probably took an intermission.
Well, we took an intermission after the tag.
Oh, okay.
So we came back we did the Halloween costume contest, which we did video. So hopefully we can get that up. And then we came back with Kevin and Mason Matthews. And then the next match was the Monster Ball. Not Monster Ball. That's the movie.
Monster Mayhem.
Monster Mayhem.
Tyson and
Savage Kincaid.
Yeah.
And it lived up to its name. It was monstrous, and there was a lot of mayhem.
Yeah, it was all over the building. And it was exactly what you would expect from somebody named Savage Kincaid and Ty Tyson.
Yeah.
And I do believe this was his first loss. Oh, sorry.
No. Second
loss.
Yeah. Only his second loss. His first one was to Justin Flash for the Mid Atlantic title.
Yeah, so it was good. So it was
a lot of blood, I imagine.
A lot of blood.
Mm-hmm.
Ty went through a door that had carpet tack strips on it. So yeah, I know. It was violent. But, anytime Ty steps in to the ring for those kinds of matches, it's not going to be that pussyfooting hardcore
that's
shit.
his wheelhouse. I mean, he loves that hardcore stuff.
He does, and he does it well.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not no backyard bullshit. This is full on wonderful hardcore, because we both love it. So it was great, and so even though he went through that door with those tags, and I could tell it hurt, and he pulled out the victory. So we saw a almost lightsaber type battle, sort of. Savage Kincaid came with his bone, and Ty picked up his Thor's hammer and blocked it and stuff. So it was good. It was a fantastic match.
All right, awesome. All right, so what do we have up next?
The final was the main event was Justin Flash's AIWF heavyweight Mid Atlantic Heavyweight Championship against Soul Taker. So that match was
a buried alive match, right?
Buried alive match. And
how in the world did they logistically pull this off? You gotta paint the picture for me.
So they had a trailer attached to a truck, and it was full of dirt, and the casket was in the middle, and then it had lights and fog around it. And so they backed it in to, which I got a really cool shot of it with Tim, backed it in, put it up against the ring, took the gate down and put it up against the ring. And so it was pretty much flush with the side of the ring. It was, it was still a little bit, but it was close. And so it was a good back and forth. Looked like Justin Flash was trying to put Soul Taker in a body bag. And then, so it looked pretty bad for a second for Justin Flash, but he was able to escape. And then good back and forth. Soul Taker, huge guy. Yeah. Huge. I
had seen the video. You could tell he was a big guy from the videos, but until you see him in person, it's just how big and imposing he is. I mean, it was just unbelievable.
But Justin Flash pulled it out, got him into the coffin, covered it, and cut and shoveled him. But then all hell broke loose. They came out, and Mason Matthews and oh Lord, my head's hurting. Came out and they attacked Justin Flash, and then Ty came out, and Savage Kincaid came out and attacked Ty, and then Kevin Phoenix came out and to try to save them, and it was just an all-out brawl. and then Soul Taker popped up out of that coffin, went after Kevin Phoenix, and choke slammed him into the casket. And then somebody was in the truck. I don't know who. I have a guess. And they squalled. You can hear them from the South.
Yeah,
they squalled.
If anybody did figure that out in the first 5 minutes of this show,
squalled tires, revved that engine, and took off with him and took him out of the park. So,
so he was kidnapped.
Yes. So it was, and then unfortunately, at the end of the night, the people with their hands raised were Mason Matthews, Savage Kincaid, and all the monsters.
Yeah, which they weren't the actual victors, but they were standing tall in the end.
Sometimes it's the visual.
Yeah, maybe they lost the battle. Well, that's what they call losing the battle, but winning the war, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so
that's why this is off. Like in some sports teams, especially gymnastics, they always say to act like you've won, because that's the last thing a person sees, and the last thing they see is you being successful. Yeah. So, but it was a wild night. It's a great show, great crowd. You know how our crowds are. Our crowds are fantastic. We say this every week. We have the best crowds, and they're so loyal, and they're just so into it. And I love every single one of them.
They are, and we're not talking about the size of the crowds, everybody, because we actually joke amongst ourselves when indie promoters try to make a half-empty building look full by standing in a certain corner and shooting a certain way, and there are a lot of them that do it. Most of them do it. All right, so. But we kind of find that funny. So we're not bragging about the size of the crowds as much as we are the quality of the fans that come there. Because let me tell you, when Reagan says there are people that are loyal, I mean, I recognize so many faces. There's one guy that comes to all the shows that stops me during intermission or right before the show, and we always have a conversation every show. So they are loyal. They are loud. They are great. So yeah, thanks. So they have as much fun at those shows. I mean, it's family time, and we never promote our shows as family friendly entertainment because it's violence, and a lot of times, especially like if Ty Tyson's in a hardcore match, you're going to see some blood. It's not blood and guts like early 70s East Tennessee wrestling or anything like that, but it can be hyper violent, and so but it is really cool, man, that people it's family time. You see grandparents and grandkids, but then you'll see mom and dad with their kids, and it's great. Great bunch of crowd.
We had a good turnout for the Halloween contest.
Yeah.
So it was, it's like, this is going to sound crazy. It's like a family reunion with wrestling in the middle of it.
Yeah.
So it was good. So,
but a family reunion where everybody actually likes each other too.
That's true too. Yeah. Oh yeah. So, but yeah, it was a good show. Fright Night is Brian's favorite. You should have seen, he was running around like a giddy school child decorating the Halloween stuff, and we had a little bit of games and prizes, and we gave away the bucket for the costume winner, and we had some adults dressed up, and so it was what we forgot?
Nobody got hit in the head with a pumpkin, did they?
No, but we forgot about Corey and Mecca.
Oh yeah.
So things did not end well for Corey and Mecca. Corey got up, to pay respects to Tenny and Matrix, which is not like, I was worried because I was like, there's no way, it's going to be a swerve. He's going to reach out to handshake, and then Mecca's going to come in and they're going to lay waste of him. But Corey he told them that they beat him fair, and was just shaking their hand, and Mecca as he was going, Mecca kept hitting his hand away, and then Mecca pushed him, and for one of the first times I've heard Mecca talk, he let Corey have it and left Corey in the ring, and stormed out.
He's just stormed. He didn't like try to kick his ass or anything, though. He just
No,
left.
no.
Okay.
But this is the first time I've seen. Yeah, well, yeah, like you said, this first time we've heard him speak here in AIWF Mid Atlantic, and I think it's kind of for deference to Corey. You know, he's the trainer, he's the mentor, so he was the mouthpiece. But he was very upset
Mm-hmm.
that
Mhm.
Corey was giving props to Kenny and Tenny and Matrix.
And what's crazy too is like there was so much going on that it's hard to remember everything. But I think I left out the part where Rick Diesel sent Seth Clayton Burns in to get the belts from Tenny and Chris. I mean Tenny and Matrix, and then Corey was still in there with them, and it did not end well for Seth Clayton Burns. But
the pictures I saw on social media that somebody was taking from the crowd, it looked like Seth Clayton Burns ended up in his underwear and dropped on his head or something like that. I mean, there was stills and there was only a couple of them. But, it didn't look like he was having a good time. I can tell you that.
No,
much.
He took their I don't know what they call it, but Matrix puts him on the back and holds his legs back, and then Tenny comes off the top rope with a headbutt to the thigh. To the thigh.
Yeah. The Dudley Boys was up.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of, but I mean, there's still stuff we didn't mention. Like it's just
there's so much. I mean, you can't mention it all, but we hit the highlights. But there was so much going on that night.
Yep, and no fan cam footage because I wasn't there, so you're gonna have to wait for whatever's gonna come out on the AIWF Network. Now, I have requested some clips be sent to us, not for publication on the Ringside Wrestling channel, but to actually review on this program. So maybe in a couple of weeks we'll be able to do that. I've got the race in Martinsville next Sunday, so it will not be a show next Sunday, but we'll be back with you in 2 weeks. So just keep that in mind. Let's see here. All right, let's do the second ad read, and then we'll get into a freestyle about what's going on in wrestling. Let's see here. All right, you're taking a look here at branch management, our first, and very professionally here, letting you see me operate the controls of PowerPoint. Oh, we spare every expense here. Let's see here, branch management. They're our first sponsor. They've been with us since the beginning. It's fall, y'all. If you didn't notice, you hadn't been outside today. It really feels like fall now. And so it's time to get the planting done. You've got to get it done before it gets much colder. Maples, I don't know down here, up in your neck of the woods, guys, but the maples are starting to turn red. And so it's time to get those new plants in the ground that you want for next year. So they can help you with that. They can help you with pressure washing. They can help you get up leaves, any kind of general contracting. 336-648-2487, 336-648-2487. That's branch management. And then our most delicious sponsor, Tees Treats. They're a local food truck based in Mount Airy. Most of the time, except for last night, they're normally the official concessionaire of the Mid Atlantic. And great hot dogs, all kinds of great stuff, especially, Tees Treats. That would imply the sweet stuff. And boy, do they got it. The great ice cream, milkshakes, and sweet stuff. Trista is just absolutely fantastic when it comes to any item made with sugar. So your dentist may not be a big fan of Tees Treats, and your diabetic physician may not be a big fan of Tees Treats, but you will be, as they have got the best concessions in wrestling, bar none. Prove me wrong. Tees Treats, and they've been with us since nearly the beginning of this show.
I just think of the evolution of Tees. I mean, if you think about Tees Treats all the way back to, because Trista's been doing concessions for us for what, 25, ever since she was like an older teenager. And it went from hot dogs, nachos, all the way to Tees Treats now.
Yeah, it used to just be hot dogs, nachos, and pickles.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I mean, we were talking one night, and I was like, why don't you open up a food truck? you know, and she was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, with all your experience in fast food, because a lot of people don't manage. She was an assistant manager in fast food for years, so she knew the restaurant business, and it was a perfect fit for her. You know, as much as she likes to cook, you know, I knew she would enjoy it. And I suggested, next thing I know, man, good God, she took that idea and ran with it, and it has just blown right up. You know, it's funny how you just casually mention something to somebody that you think they'd be good at, and they're able to start up a successful business out of it. And it's just freaking fantastic. So, absolutely just so happy with that and glad that, I mean, I've never had anything bad off that food truck.
I haven't
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
it's it. I am not joking when it says she has ruined me for every festival I go to. Like I will not get a funnel cake from anywhere else because every single time I tried, it would be terrible. And then I would have to tell her and show her a picture the next time I saw her of the terrible funnel cake, the terrible food. It's just she's ruined me.
Yeah.
Ruined me.
And if I go one of those festivals where there's food trucks, and if she's there, I'll walk up to her and depending on like what her competition is, the menu will change, right? So if she's right next door to somebody selling chicken sandwiches, she ain't going to sell them. She's going to focus on, you know, her other menu items, right? Because what's the point? If you got 6 food trucks in a row and they're all selling hot dogs, what's the point, right? So
Right.
she'll adjust. And anytime I see her there, I'll be like, at one of those festivals, I'll be like, hey, if I want a hot dog, are you selling hot dogs today? Well, no. But if you go down here, and she'll point me in the right direction, you know. And so yeah, what more can you say? I mean, it's like Santa Claus and Miracle on 34th Street sending parents to the other stores. You know, I mean, it's just top notch all the way. And so you got to try T's treats if you see them in Dobson or Elkin or, you know, at Mount Airy Walmart or whatever. You got to give them a try. They are fantastic, fantastic. Um, and of course, our newest sponsor, Secondhand Heroes. They're a gaming store. It's got collectible toys, retro consoles, arcade cabinets. They can help you get your nerd on, my friends. 18184 Leesville Road in Evington, Virginia, right outside Lynchburg. They are open 7 days a week. I mean, 7 days a week, my friends. And they don't close until the dice stop rolling. This is where you want to hang out, man. If you like to play Magic the Gathering or Dungeons and Dragons or any of that type of stuff, they can provide table space for you. You just want to give them a call in advance. They got a Monday night D&D group that's been running for over a year, and they welcome newcomers, both experienced and inexperienced. They host video game competitions like for Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Mario Kart, Super Smash Brothers, and Mario Kart. You know, it's Nintendo and everything, but it could get quite heated. You know, I still will play Mario Kart in the arcade from time to time over at Dave and Buster's, and can get a little perturbed sometimes if somebody hits me with a shell at the wrong time.
Yeah, back in the day, we would Billy would come over, and then my nephew Andrew and his best friend at the time, and then we would have Mario Kart battles, and it gets heated.
Mhm.
It gets heated. So
Yeah, so Rainbow Road is just an evil place. They have a Monday night D&D group that has been running for over a year. I may have said that. But they also host video game tournaments. So give them a call at 434-317-0121 or shoot them an email with any questions at secondhandheroesva@gmail.com. Now, you don't spell out second, you use the abbreviation. So 2ND handheroesva@gmail.com. Let me give you that one more time. secondhandheroesva@gmail.com. So they want you to come game with them. And their phone number again, one more time, is 434-317-0121. You know, and yeah, give them a call. Just fantastic place. Looks like a lot of fun. So yeah. So Evington, Virginia, Lynchburg nerds, you have got your meeting place now. You know, so take care of it. Let's see here. Well, we got Halloween Havoc coming up that we talked about earlier on the Facebook portion of the program. As we record tonight, our old compadre Andre Chase is on the card. I'm not sure if Javon Evans is on the card, but good luck to them. Let's see here. Have you guys been able to watch Raw since it went back to 2 hours?
I have not. I meant to, but I've been last week, I was really sick, and after that Sunday, I was like, so I got bronchitis and everything. So I've not been watching hardly anything really. And I want to, because I think it would be easier to watch 2 hours.
It would.
Like, I don't think I would watch it at the time, because that's just.
Oh, DVR. No, I DVR.
I get up too early. So I really want to, because like I see a lot of stuff, and I'm also wanting to start. Like, I've been watching a lot of clips from NXT, and they are just, everything I see on there is just so good. So I'm hoping to start watching so we can actually talk. I think I got burned out because I was trying to watch AEW, and we saw how bad that went.
Yeah,
and it's hard to open my heart up.
It's a shame nobody tried to warn you about that,
Mhm.
because I gave it a shot too. But I mean, I kudos to you. You tried. So
I did try. I did, and it was just getting too much.
Hey, I even bought one of the pay-per-views. I bought Sting's last match, and let me say this, so I don't want to sound like I'm completely dumping on AEW, because there are people that work there that we know. I'm not going to say I'm best friends with anybody that's up there, but I remember when Wheeler Yuta, if I say it 3 times fast, used to come and work at our Mid Atlantic shows in Mount Airy. Nice guy. I remember Adam Page when he was probably 15 years old, and Jimmy Love with him in a headlock down somewhere in the eastern part of the state, and I'm filming, and he was like, "Hey, Hollywood Matt Carter, look at him. I got him right where I want him, but he won't quit. I don't want to have to kill this kid, Matt Carter. I don't want to have to kill him." I'll never forget that as long as I live. And when I saw Adam Page walk out on TV, I still call him Little Adam Page, because he was little when he was a teenager. Now he's all buff and, stuff like that. But to me, he'll always be Little Adam Page. So I hope if I ever see him again and I say that to him, he doesn't get all pissed off. I'm not little anymore. To me, you are. But they do pay-per-view. Their pay-per-views are really long. They're $50, and they're usually longer than you want them to be. But one thing that I will give them credit for is, if you watch their pay-per-views and that pre-show, it's an hour and a half pre-show. So if you order AEW, be prepared to invest 5.5 hours of your time for a $50 pay-per-view. They give you your money's worth. They do, and even if some of it's not good. But when they're on that countdown show, Renee and that guy that is with her that stand on the ramp and talk about the pay-per-view coming up, they really give it like, did you ever, when you watched pay-per-view back in the late 80s or boxing pay-per-views in the 90s, like, they really make it feel like something big is getting ready to happen. And boy, we're so glad you tuned in. This is going to be great tonight. We can't wait. They as jaded as I am, when I ordered that Sting's last match pay-per-view, like, they had me excited about 15 minutes to 8. I was like, yeah, man, all right, And so Greensboro Coliseum being jam-packed with 18,000 people didn't hurt none either. But I think you guys would like Raw. You're gonna have to get used to Joe Tessitore.
Who's that?
He's the host. He's the play-by-play guy now, and he is not a wrestling guy. He's a football guy. So he calls wrestling as a straight sport. And he's got Wade Barrett with him, who is a brilliant color commentator. I liked Wade Barrett when he was a wrestler, but since he is retired and gone into announcing, I liked him when he was in WWE the first time as an announcer. When he went to the NWA, he was great. Now that he's back, he's even better. Just as the years go by and he gets more experience, he's absolutely fantastic. And they are the perfect combination.
When you think about it, though, that's kind of an old school take on commentating.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've always, had a guy that was the, just calling the the match, you know, and calling the moves and stuff, and then having the guy that was there for the entertainment value. I mean, think about how boring Mike Tenay was, but his wrestling knowledge was like second to none.
Yeah, you couldn't have him out there. I didn't like him when he was doing play-by-play in TNA, but when he was out there with Bobby Heenan and somebody else doing lead commentary, I thought he was great.
Yeah. You know, and so I think for the audience now, it might be not off-putting, but something you would have to get used to. But like, you know, I always feel like if you have more than one color commentary guy, it's sometimes distracting. Like sometimes I can't, like, it's not anything that I can think of off the top of my head, but like if you have a show where there's two people trying to get over being funny and kitschy and all that stuff, it is very distracting. So
I always found it difficult to work in a 3-man booth. And some of my most enjoyable but also difficult times was when I worked with both Brian and Bad Brad, who were excellent color commentators, analysts, whatever you want to call them. But when you've got 3 people there, I always just found it just extremely difficult. That was just me, you know, because you're not having, you're trying to keep a conversation going between 3 guys plus call the match, and people are trying to, you know, get their shit in with their one-liners. It's kind of tough, you know. But I think if you give Joe Tessitore a chance, and when I tell you, he is no slouch. When I heard he was coming to Raw, I nearly jumped out of my shoes, and I'll tell you why. Because he works for ESPN and ABC, and he always calls top 25 college football games. Now, he is not the host of Saturday Night Football, their #1 show, but he's usually calling one of the higher ranked games on Saturday afternoon. Like this week, he did Alabama at 3:30 on Saturday, and that's a big time slot for college football on Saturday afternoon. So trust and believe when I say this man is talented. He deserves to be there. He's got the credentials to back it up, calling football. And if you just give him a chance, he will grow on you. I like him. I've liked him ever since I heard his voice the first time, because I'm a football guy, and he calls the game very seriously. Matter of fact, he's got a deep, bassy voice. It sounds like a man, you know. And so I think you'll like him. Him and Barrett go together real good. They're like, you know, Oreo.
I do like Wade Barrett. Like when I watch the pay-per-views, you know, I always enjoy watching him because he always did the pre-show. It's very entertaining. This is off the subject, sort of, but kind of about TKO. Did you hear that TKO has acquired PBR, Professional Bull Riding?
Really?
Yeah. Either they've acquired it or they're going to acquire it.
Wow. All right, Manuel, just buy it all up, Walt Disney. Okay.
Yeah. So you know, but you know, when you think about bull riding, there's a lot of personality with bull riders.
Well, yeah, you got to be nuts to get on a bull and try to stay on top of it, or keep it under you for 8 seconds. You know, when that bull knows that as soon as it throws you, it gets to run back and drink from usually a trough of cold water and some other kind of treat. So when Stan had the bull riding arena up here, I talked to him a couple of times about, you know, why the bulls buck so hard and stuff like that. And it's a game to them, because they know they get a treat. The faster they buck that cowboy, and that they get a treat. And so what they do, they put them in their panels to line them up hours before the show, because you can't rush bulls. A bull ain't gonna go nowhere it don't want to go, right? So you have to load them in those panels hours before the show. So that bull has been standing there for hours thinking about nothing but its prize. So when it goes in that chute and the cowboy gets on top of it, it knows the quicker it can spin around and get rid of this extra baggage, it's going to get a treat. So, you know, yeah, I love bull riding. I used to get it and I feel bad for the cowboys, because most of the time people go there and the announcer will say, "Hey, are you cheering for the Cowboys or the Bulls?" And the Bulls always get a bigger reaction.
Yeah. Well, if you ever want to see one of the best Luke Perry movies, 8 Seconds, pretty good.
Yeah, that's based on a true story. Lane Frost, about the rodeo guy Lane Frost, and he's the reason they kind of saw off the tips of the Bulls' horns nowadays. So so they don't gore you. So, but yeah, that was based on a true story. Kind of sad though. Did not end well for Mr. Frost.
No, it did not.
But you know, it's a dangerous sport. But you know, Ari Emanuel, they say, is one of the most powerful people in Hollywood. And this thing with WWE being picked up by TKO has done nothing but great things. They're doing cross promotions with NASCAR now. Cole Custer was on NXT last week and hit the bad guy in the back with his helmet.
That's very WCW.
Yeah, well, check this out. The NXT guys were at the Xfinity race yesterday in Miami with Cole Custer, and he almost won the race. I think he finished second. So, yeah, I thought it was kind of hokey too. And they got him in the ring and had him dance at the end, which was, Cole Custer, you are a badass race car driver, but you are the whitest white boy that ever tried to white dance in a wrestling ring I have ever seen in my entire life. Please don't ever do that again. You're scared of bambinos. But yeah, it's been great with WWE ever since TKO took over. And I almost feel bad because at some point in the future, Vince McMahon is going to be forgotten about. You know, oh yeah, that's the guy that started the place up, and that's all people will think about if they don't, depending on how these court cases go, of course. But you know.
So, what do you think about the ticket? We're talking about a lot of good things about WWE, but there's a lot of backlash right now online about those ticket prices for WrestleMania.
Well, if you don't like ticket prices, don't go. Vote with your pocketbook. That's how you affect change. I boycott businesses all the time. And you know what? Most of the time it has no effect, but it gives me personal satisfaction. So if you don't like it, don't buy a ticket. That's all I can say.
I mean, yeah, I mean, that's what it comes down to. But like, I mean, some of the prices up there, I mean, it was shocking what I saw.
What, like the $14,000 ringside and
well, they have like a suite where the Undertaker comes in and hangs out with you for probably a minute, and it's like $10,000 a person. So
why would you want to sit in a stinking suite? I mean, I know
that's
some
what people say too, because in those places, those suites are really high up and really far. I mean, they're technically nosebleed, but in an air conditioned box with food.
Yeah, I mean, if that's your bag, it's like Jinky and I, we all go to these NASCAR races all the time. But I would, if you gave it, now we took a gift from the Speedway one time. They gave us tickets to the Speedway Club for qualifying. And we went up there and checked it out because it was qualifying. But man, if I'm not outside where I can smell the gas and the tires and the action is right there in front of you, and that ain't me, man. You know.
And it's not just that. I won tickets to see Journey year before last, and the tickets we won were for, you know, a suite. And so, but like, you're so, like, I enjoyed like the free beer and stuff, and we got to go to the Flow Club and the Greensboro Coliseum and eat and stuff like that. But like for the concert, like, you know, it's still like the people are like this big, you know, and you know, it was a fun experience. It's an experience I'll never be able to have again. But like, if you're and Journey, like, I just, you know,
they're not the same without Steve Perry. Let's be honest.
Well, they sounded pretty damn good, but Journey is like, it wasn't like a thing where I was like super excited. So like, but if it was somebody that I'd really want to see, I mean, that's pretty far. But yeah, it's an interest that we'll see if it even affects them.
Well, you know, here's the thing. You know, a lot of people were talking about how Disney, you know, has recently raised their theme park prices and all that kind of stuff because they were having trouble with unsavory elements. And let me tell you something. If you walk into a Disney park or Universal Studios or Carowinds or Tweetsie Railroad and you start a fight, you're a piece of shit. You know, I'm sorry. You don't belong there. You as a human being do not deserve the right to go someplace that fun. So
how do you fight it fun?
I mean, you search Disney World fights on YouTube.
I know.
You come up with a ton of stuff. And so my whole understanding was like Disney has done this to crack down and price those type of people out. And from what some of the video blogs I've seen, people that have gone this year are like, hey man, yeah, it's more expensive, but the lines are shorter. you know, you can see you can meet the characters much more easy now. You know, I don't know if all that's true or somebody's just pumping sunshine up Disney's rear end. Don't know. But, you know, I still want to go to Disney World. And guess what? You know, it's like the promoter sets the price, and if you want to go, you pay it, and if you don't want to go, you don't pay it. I mean, so
It's very but
I
you
mean,
know,
you can't go up to Tweetsy and they say, okay, it's $60 for a day park admission. Well, what do you say? Let's make it 45. They're gonna say, sir, you either pay the 60 or you're trespassing. You know, so I mean,
well, I mean, it's not like I mean, yes, they're very expensive now, but it's not like they were cheap. It's not like they went from $50 to 10,000.
no.
You know,
And I see people all shapes and sizes and income brackets when I go to the wrestling here in Charlotte. People will save up if they get an inkling WWE is coming around, you know, especially the diehards, you know, like me. What I'm like, you know, when I find out they're coming, as soon as the on sale date goes on, I start trying to find the pre-sale, pre-code, whatever those codes you put in to buy tickets a day early. And you know, you just pony up the bread and go. So I don't think it's going to hurt the size of their crowd. I really don't. I could be wrong, but we'll see. You know, it's not like the old days. It's not like, you know, weekly wrestling at the high school gym when you're, you know, tickets are 4, 3, and 2 for the nosebleeds. You know, it's just those days are long gone.
Mm-hmm.
I will say nosebleed. I've never slept. I only went to one show where Vera and I were in nosebleeds, and it was the very first Unforgiven in Greensboro. And we were literally against the wall at the very top.
Oh my
and it
God.
was horrifying. And you know her as well. She is petrified of heights.
Yep.
And it was a lot more shockingly high than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
So,
that upper level at Greensboro since the remodel in the early 90s is steep. And I'm going to tell you what, if you think that's bad, don't ever go upstairs in the Spectrum Center down here in Charlotte. It's worse. We went up there for a basketball game. We got comp basketball tickets one night, and we went up there, and I felt like I was going to fall out of the damn ceiling. And so if I go to any event in the Spectrum Center now, if I can't sit in the lower bowl, I ain't going. You know, I just ain't going. You know, and I'll pony up the bread for the tickets in the lower bowl. But if I got to sit upstairs, I ain't going. I just ain't doing
you
it.
know what's still funny though about that Unforgiven? You could still, that was the one where every time the Undertaker took a bump, the fire went off on the ring post.
Yeah, it was the Inferno match.
Yes,
They had
and
fire all the way around the ring.
you could still feel the heat from that, even
Oh yeah,
that far up. And my friend, she's also scared of fireworks and fire, which was so it was a traumatic experience for her. So
yeah. But well, you know, so hey, we'll see how things go with wrestling on the big show. I cannot see the comment section, so I don't know if anybody's trying to talk to us. I tried to pull it up, but I don't think they're there. Ew. Oh, okay. So anyway, McRib's on the way back soon, I hear.
I've never had a McRib.
You should try it. If you like barbecue, you should try it.
Really? Yet again, my friend Vera, she worked at McDonald's all through high school and through college, and she says the McRibs are nasty, but so I've never had them.
Oh, they're delicious. They're probably not very good for you, but they're delicious. Like, but the thing with McRib is with me is if I can have, what I'll do is I'll go in, I'll wait till I get really hungry, and I'll go in and I'll order a McRib combo, just like you see on the poster with a Dr. Pepper, because for some reason a Dr. Pepper complements that sandwich better than a Coke, and order the McRib combo and one extra McRib sandwich. That's so much food that I'm sitting there like this after. And then I'm good for the whole next year. I don't want one until it comes back around. So, you know, but I would highly recommend you try it.
With a Dr. Pepper?
Yeah.
Do you know what only time
don't get it to go. It's messy. Go inside, eat it inside. You're gonna need a lot of napkins. You know.
The only time I drink Dr. Pepper is when I eat pizza. I like pizza and Dr. Pepper together.
Yeah.
Which is a strange combo, but Dr. Pepper's like, it'd give me a heart attack now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you get in moderation. I had a Dr. Pepper today at the Chinese buffet. That's kind of nice.
One sits by old person talk 101.
Yeah.
If I drink caffeine now, it like shoots my heart rate up and stuff. So I have to
Really?
be very careful.
Well, yeah, be careful. No caffeine at all. No coffee. No.
I can drink 1 cup of coffee in the morning at 6:30, and then that's it. Can't have caffeine the rest of the day, or I won't. And my heart will race, and I won't be able to sleep.
Wow.
Yeah, it's terrible. Hashtag old person.
Yeah. But anyway, so we're gonna. I think we've covered just about everything. We wanted to get you out of here in time for Halloween Havoc. It's 6:35 in the East. If you're watching on Facebook, so you still got time to go get your cock out and watch Halloween Havoc. I know I'm never gonna
Halloween Havocs than the WCW ones.
I watched. I've been doing that too. Let's do this before we go. And this is a hard question, so if y'all need me to go first, I will go first. Favorite Halloween Havoc of all time during the original WCW run, and if you need to think about it, or one pop to mind right away.
I don't. Oh my God, I'm trying to think.
I know.
Well, you went to one, right? Were you at that? Was that Halloween Havoc in Asheville?
No,
where
that
they
was
had the
Fall
truck?
Brawl.
No, that was Fall Brawl.
All right, I'll give you mine.
Give you yours.
Mine is 1995. The Giant versus Hulk Hogan with the monster trucks on top of Cobo Hall in Detroit. And that the reason that is my favorite of all time is because I knew that show was coming on, and that night I was still in my parents' basement. And I got into my pajamas and snuggled up in the chair and had some snacks and everything. And was just kicked back, didn't have a care in the world. I just graduated high school I'd been about a year out of high school. I was just late teenager and, being a useless Generation X slacker. And I just had the best time that night, sitting Indian style in my chair and watching Halloween Havoc. And it was so hokey. When the Giant fell off the building.
Mm-hmm.
He's
that
dead.
must be where I was thinking of that one. But see, the thing about Halloween Havoc, you can have a favorite one and it still be absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
Spin the Wheel, Make the Deal was Halloween Havoc, right? With
92 in Philly.
That was what was so disappointing about that one is that wheel had so many cool stipulations in it. And then they ended up with coal miner's glove.
I know, that was so lame. Of all the
and
shit,
and they brought that big, and there was the fireworks were going off, and it was this big because it looked like a buzzsaw, right?
Yeah.
It looked like a buzzsaw, and Sting was in. That was Sting and Sting's biggest WCW Stinging. Do you know what I'm saying? That was shoulder pad, long coat Sting with and that was something else.
He seemed to be genuinely freaked out by that wheel. Remember how he was like every time the fireworks would go off, he would
I don't know. I wonder, could they have planned that? Why would they have planned that one?
A coal miner's glove. That's maybe the only thing Klondike Bill had in the truck.
I don't know. It was terrible.
Yeah.
That one is one that sticks out. And then, like you said, the one, because the funny thing about that one with the monster trucks is Brian and I talked about, it's Hulk Hogan just murdered the Giant. He murdered him. Just murdered him.
Well, manslaughter.
Manslaughter.
It was that. Yeah, just manslaughter.
But it's I do say Halloween Havoc is one of those ones that even though it is absolutely terrible, there's some of my favorites to watch.
Yeah.
So I would say I'm gonna say Spin the Wheel. Did they do another Spin the Wheel?
They did it the next year with Cactus Jack and Vader in '93.
That's right.
If you haven't seen that one, you need to go back and watch. That deserves a rewatch. That's actually a really good show.
That I'm trying to think. When was the coalition to end Hulkamania? Was that a Halloween Havoc? One with the
uncensored one year when they had all those cages stacked on top of
yes
back of the arena. Yeah, that was
one of
96, I think.
That was one of the worst. I mean that, but I'm looking. I'm scrolling through Wikipedia to see if there's one that I can.
92 was also the one we were talking about last week, where the crowd was pulling for Arn Anderson's team in the
Yes.
opening match, him and the Freebirds, and then also the match, also the one where the crowd got up for Medusa kicking the crap out of Paul E. dangerously, which led to Bill Watts' infamous comment. If you want to hear it word for word, go back and watch it next week, because I don't want to say it again.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah,
and I know this is one of the ones that was also terrible. Was a Piper and Hogan in the cage.
Oh yeah. What was that? The WWE was making fun of it. Age in the Cage is what they
Age in the Cage.
Yeah.
It's but it is, even if it's terrible, they're really fun to watch because they're so gimmicky. You know, what else is true about them is like it's usually the main events that are terrible. But that's WCW for you. Like their undercard would be in a lot of their pay-per-views great, and then the freaking main event would be like trash.
Or remember the infamous Halloween Havoc 1998, where there was nothing really too bad on the undercard, but Hogan and Warrior came out there and just stank out the joint. Probably the worst wrestling match ever televised. And then Goldberg comes out to defend against go up against DDP for the world title, and a lot of they went over their satellite window, and a lot of places in the country the pay-per-view cut off during the middle of the match, and they had to show it on Nitro the next night. They had to give the main event of the pay-per-view away for free. You know, we were lucky our cable system didn't cut it off. We got to see the whole thing. I didn't know anything went wrong until I got up the next day and started hearing rumors. You know, I think
I don't even remember Hogan versus Savage.
Oh, 96. That's one of my favorite ones too. That's where Hall and Nash beat Harlem Heat for the tag team title.
Oh yeah, I think I might have just recently watched that. I don't probably because I say this every time. You know, I'm watching Nitro and pay-per-views in order right now.
Yeah.
So, and my goal is to watch every single one of them.
Well,
so it's probably going to be next year when I'm done with all of them. But
yeah, I can't remember which Halloween Havoc it was, but the opening where the kids knocked on the door and it was Tony Schiavone.
93. That would be 93.
Only was acting
like a weird creep.
Yeah. That's my wife, Lois.
That was bad. Because it was acting like he was getting ready to like, I don't know. I don't want to say because I don't want to get laws. But and because then he ended up turning into like a monster. Yeah. That was the funny thing about some of those early Halloween Havocs is they always had an opening like that was weird and stuff. So, but yeah, they're fun to watch. They're probably some of they're is it most fun or funnest? Most fun.
Most fun. I thought you were a teacher.
I don't teach grammar. They're not that.
Thank God.
And I have a book. No, I'm just picking. Well, see, the problem is when you're Southern, it's hard to do phonics and grammar because we don't use it correctly.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're really fun to watch. And if you have time to just waste and you've got the Peacock, it's fun to just turn them on and just see the wildness of WCW. Because I feel like those showcase how insane they were. So insane in a bad way, not a good way. Not like ECW insane, like some of the you're like, how in the world? Like, why did people want to see this? But yeah.
But I mean, there was a market for it. They had been. You got to understand, Georgia Championship Wrestling started going at 6:05 on Saturday nights, like way back in the late 70s. So by the early 90s, there was a loyal audience that watched wrestling every Saturday night, no matter how bad it got. My dad was one of them. And, you know, and like, even when like Starrcade 91, I think is probably one of the worst wrestling pay-per-views ever, you know, forced on the public. But I remember being so excited going into that for that stupid Battle Bowl.
Oh,
you know,
oh God.
Random tag. And they even had two Battle Bowl pay-per-views.
They did. They did. Because is that the one where DDP won the belt? Well, I'm sorry, won the ring was that the one with the
Yeah,
ring?
you want a
So,
ring.
the last one, DDP won, but it was like really weird what happened, and then they just kind of like dropped it.
Yeah.
Like it was supposed to get him, I guess, a #1 contendership, and they're like, oh, you're not getting one, and then they just dropped the whole ring thing, and I was just like, ugh.
When I was a kid, they actually sold me on the pay-per-view by saying, this is going to be the most unique event ever because you don't know what you're going to see, instead of advertised matches. And looking back on it as an adult now, I'm thinking, that's kind of a dumbass marketing strategy.
What was so dumb about it is that every single time it was a heel and a baby.
Yeah.
Heel and a baby. There was never, because if it was really random, even though I know I'm smart with the business, they should have had one in there every once in a while that was like a regular tag team, because statistically that would have happened, but every time it was always the two that hated each other.
Right.
Yeah. And you could have really, considering if you really wanted to lean on your talent and you trusted your talent, you could do the drawing as a shoot and just let them go out there, call it in a ring.
Yeah.
You guys are, because we're getting in the weeds here booking now, but who you're gonna end up coming out with on top. Just figure that out, work backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know shit about booking, but I know that much.
Sure, that was a bad one. You know what else?
But see, they wrecked Starrcade the first 2 years with it. Because the first two Battle Bowls were at Starrcade 91 and Starrcade 92. And so, here's this prestigious event that you've been calling the granddaddy of them all. And yeah, join us for Starrcade. We're going to donate to the Starlight Foundation. So that's another thing that irks me about that I remember. Normally at that time, WCW pay-per-views were $19.95. They said they were going to donate a portion of the proceeds to the Starlight Foundation, which was an organization for children in Atlanta that granted wishes, sort of like Make-A-Wish. So they raised the pay-per-view price up to $19.99. They donated 4 cents of every pay-per-view sold.
Good Lord.
What a fucking insult.
That is terrible.
Yeah, even Eric Bischoff has commented on how shitty that was, on his podcast, because it came up one time. And I was just like, he better not try to defend this. And he was like, he was just like, he didn't. Because he wasn't in charge at the time. Right. But he was working there, and he remembered hearing it and thinking that is just shitty. So needless to say, Starlight Foundation is no more, and Make-A-Wish has its roots solidly planted in Atlanta. So don't worry about the children in Atlanta now that need to make wishes. They are very well taken care of. So, but anyway, that's all I got. What do you guys got? Anything else?
Love on your pets. Give them a big hug.
Yeah.
Today, I lost one of my cats today. So if you got a pet, give it a big hug tonight.
Yep. That's part of the reason I don't have pets now. I love dogs and I don't mind cats, but I've said this for years. It's something else that you're going to love that's going to die.
Yeah, so
why add to it? Enough stuff that you love is going to die. I get sad when one of my house plants dies. Okay, so
it's the price of their love.
Yeah.
So you got So he was 13. So
that's a good run for a cat.
Yeah, very good run.
Yeah. So
especially in this household where they have the run of the roost. So
yeah. Real easy for them to get hurt because they're jumping around everywhere and
no,
it's just they just live like kings.
They live like kings
for the time they're here. So
well, I don't know any cat that doesn't live like a king, even a damn cat you keep outside for the
cats
keep the barn, like at a farm. If you got livestock, you need a cat in the barn, right? You do to keep the mice away. But they're king shit. They don't care that those horses are 50 times bigger than them. They can jump up on the fences and up in the slats in the roof, and they run shit.
Yeah, you need to check out Stone Cold's social media.
I've seen it.
Most of his stuff now is about his barn cat, Macho.
Mhm.
Yeah,
and-
I think that's the
and,
name.
Muncho, yeah. So it's really good. I saw an interview with him. They were like, "What does it feel like to be a cat dad now?" And so I like him. And then that's also why I like Drew McIntyre, because a lot of his social media is him and his cat. So
Yeah.
anyway, we got off subject. Anyway, love your cat tonight. Love your dog. Love your hamster. Whatever you got.
Yeah, snakes, lizards, spiders, whatever you got. I have silverfish.
Or earwigs.
Nobody thought that was as funny as I did. I'm
I
sorry.
thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah, I did too.
Because I was like, or earwigs.
I don't even know. Oh, I saw there's a dead palmetto bug in front of my front porch. You know, I don't know why it picked that spot to die because nobody stepped on it. It seems to be in fully functioning shape, except it don't move no more. So it's dead because they'll usually run away. So,
Those are gross.
I don't know. Maybe a cat got a cat got them. My neighbor's cat loves palmetto bugs and the torturing of same. That cat gets real creative when it catches a palmetto bug. I'll tell you that. It ain't pretty. All right, well, we'll go get out of here. But thanks everybody for tuning in. Go enjoy Halloween Havoc if you're watching us at a later time. Thank you for your support at Fright Night. It was great. And we will not be here next week because I'm going to be out of town. But we'll be back in 2 weeks, and we got another show coming up on November 14. Am I correct?
16th.
16, November 16th. So write that date down.
Yes.
And we'll be back in a couple of weeks and tell you all about that. I'm sure there's going to be some fallout from Fright Night that everybody's going to have to deal with. So definitely want to stay tuned for that. All right. So for Brian and Reagan, I'm Mad Matt Carter. And we'll see you next time, fans. And until then, so long for now.